Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome to the Kathy J Show. I am Kathy J. I'm the name on the logo that you see. I'm so happy that you're here hanging out with us today because this show is all about us getting to hang out and learn something new for about 30 minutes. So it's all safe to say we are going through a lot right now. So like today, I got the boot on still. We have surgery. I'm sweating a little because I woke up this morning with a panic attack. So a lot of us have a lot on our minds. And you know, we're not alone, so take that as comfort because it's been about changing careers for me. It's been about health issues. And according to the World Economic Forum, for 6 months straight, everybody, the number of Americans that are going through it, quitting a job, has exceeded pre-pandemic numbers. That's crazy. Len Herstein, author and founder / CEO at Manage Camp Incorporated. God, I am just messing up today, Len. I'm sorry. I told you I had a panic attack earlier this morning.
You're fine.
I'm going to say it again. Hang on. Len Herstein, author and founder / CEO at Manage Camp Incorporated, joins me to explain more about the Great Resignation. Hello, Len.
Hey,
Yay.
Patty.
I made it through, Len, and the show is done. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Everyone, I hope you have a good day. Stay warm. No, I'm kidding. So before we dive into it, you're an author, you're a sheriff, you have so much to share. You have a beautiful family that we have to give a shout out to, everybody. Who is this?
Well, that's my, on the far end is my wife, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
And my daughters, next to her is Samantha and Jessica.
Awesome. Beautiful girls.
Yeah.
You guys live out here in Colorado, raising
do.
him out here in the beautiful fresh air.
Yeah.
Because he's from the East Coast, and he's like, we can't raise our kids here.
No.
Yeah, right.
We
You
couldn't.
can come visit the cousins in Jersey, but we're not raising here. But you've had like over 25 years of your resume is stacked with entrepreneurship, business executives. What have you been doing for 25 years?
Well, so yeah, it's over 30 years now.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I started out in consulting and then I went to consumer packaged goods brand marketing. I used to work for Coca-Cola and Nabisco and Campbell's Soup.
Wow.
And then I started my own company and we did the Brand Managed Camp Marketing Conference for the last 19 years, last couple of years virtually.
So you've lived in the business world.
Yeah.
You've been at those meetings, the
have.
cutthroat meetings where billions of dollars are on the line.
Well, I don't know about billions.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yes. So
hundreds of dollars.
Right. But you understand what it's like in the corporate world, definitely.
I do.
And then you go and you decide, you know what? I think I'm going to be a sheriff for free.
yeah. They put us through a bunch of psychological testing.
Who's they? The sheriffs. Yeah.
My wife, doubts the validity of that. But I woke up one day and I wanted to get involved in the community. I wanted to do something. I wanted to start giving back. My wife is very heavily involved in Girl Scouts.
I love that. I'm a Girl Scout.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a Girl Scout
All right,
graduate.
we gotta put you
yes.
together.
I love Girl Scouts. Yeah.
Well, she does a ton and
Go,
has
Katie.
done a ton there. Yeah.
Yep.
And I was looking for something to do, and this opportunity came up with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and somehow they chose me. I went through an academy. I went through 440 hours of field training and became a reserve patrol deputy. And
You weren't just a young kid going through the academy.
I was not.
You did it though.
Yeah, there's a show out there, The Rookie,
Yeah.
with Nathan Fillion. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm older than him.
Yeah, that's good though what you did. Now, when you wrote the book, was this before becoming a sheriff or after you became a sheriff?
No, actually becoming the sheriff's deputy is what gave me the impetus to write the book.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, when we come back, we're going to talk to Len more about that in the book, and we're going to get into what jobs right now are having the pinch in the industry, and where's everybody going. We'll be right back. Kathy J. The Colorado Lottery is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Colorado Lottery, play on. Welcome back to the Kathy J Show, everybody. So today we're talking about the Great Resignation. Author Len Herstein is here with us. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Okay, so you wrote this amazing book, and the purpose of the book was to explain the sheriff in the book thing.
Yeah, so when I started the sheriff's office, I thought it was going to be a completely different experience for me. And what I learned right away is there were things I was getting in that experience that I could apply back to business and life.
Okay.
And the number one thing was this concept that complacency kills.
Yes.
And I started thinking, you know what, complacency kills obviously in that business.
Yes.
But it kills businesses, it kills brands, it kills personal and professional relationships. And
When you say complacency, you mean staying the same.
Well, it's a great question because a lot of times people think complacency means laziness.
Yeah, right.
It's become
they got complacent.
Yeah, and
right.
It's become kind of like this throwaway word.
They weren't as hungry. Yes.
People are like, oh, don't get complacent.
Right.
But nobody ever talks about what that means.
Okay, so what does it mean?
So complacency for me is when you develop an overconfidence, a self-satisfaction, a smugness that makes you unaware of potential dangers.
Okay.
Okay.
But at a certain point, haven't you worked hard enough to, I don't know, earn a little bit of that complacency?
It all depends on how much risk you're willing to accept.
Okay.
So here's the thing. What I always say is success is not the end goal.
Uh-huh.
Keeping it is.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, no, for sure. Absolutely. Who's going to be there in the long run? How's it going to end for everybody? Yes.
But the irony is the more successful we are, the more vulnerable we become to complacency.
To fall. The higher you go, the more you can fall.
So
Absolutely.
we do get that overconfidence and things become dangers that we can't see. And that's what the book's all about.
Okay, and so there are people, and I know people, that because of the dangers of what can happen the higher you go, they don't want to go high. Like they allow them, they go, oh, management, you got to manage people, and I don't want to deal with all those problems, and they'll just take themselves out of the game altogether. That's complacency, right? Or is that just self-sabotage? That's another issue of limited beliefs maybe or something?
Well, you know what? I think people make choices throughout their entire lives.
Yes.
You don't always have to, strive for the top. Success for you might be different than success for someone else.
And it should be.
But the thing is that no matter what level you choose to be at, you can be complacent there. And that's where, no matter what you're doing, you can have complacency come into your life, both personally, at home, and professionally. And so, what the book is about understanding what complacency is and what it isn't, and how can we identify it and combat it every day.
I think the biggest thing is a lot of us did identify we were complacent or we didn't like where we were anymore. And the pandemic kind of was the universe smacking us out of a hamster wheel or smacking us into another career, right? I mean, so when we come back, I want to ask you, where is all of the, where are all the employees? Which industries did have the most turnover rate? And also, the biggest factor, complacency, you're going to give us the main three things about complacency, correct?
I'll give you as many as you want.
All right, well then I'll stop talking. We're going to go to commercial. When we get back, we'll get into it. I'm sorry. Ramos Law is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. He's a medical doctor and a lawyer. Ramos Law, what makes us different makes us better. Oh my gosh, everybody, I'm learning a lot this half hour. Thank you for joining us today. Len Herstein is talking with us about how people are quitting their jobs in record numbers right now. He also wrote this book that we've been talking about. So let's get into it. Why are there so many why is everyone trying to hire employees right now? Where do we all go?
Yeah, it's a great question, right? Because everybody will talk about it as if it's a pandemic thing.
Yes, right.
But it is not a pandemic thing.
Okay, so it's not like this is all the 500,000 people that died that were in the working force.
No. This is something that the pandemic brought out, right? It highlighted, but the seeds for this were sown a long time ago. And really what happened was employers for a long time had the power.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And the problem with having power is when you get complacent and have power, you start abusing that power. And I talk about something in the book called articulating the why, being able to articulate the why behind everything you do, everything. And if the reason why becomes because I said so or because I can, those are bad reasons.
Yeah,
those are not going to last. And that's what happened, right? So employers were not paying people well. They were not
giving you the right time off.
They were not letting them work from
Maternity
home.
leave, bereavement, yeah.
Not giving them autonomy or discretion in their jobs.
Yes.
Not making sure that they were engaged. And all these things because they could, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always someone else who is willing to take that job.
Yeah.
When you have that power, the question is, how are you going to use that?
Okay, so over the years, they abused it.
Yeah.
And the seeds were there of people saying, I don't like this. This isn't how I should live.
Right.
I mean, I remember being raised by parents who were very hardworking, but the goal was find a company that hopefully you'll like, and hopefully they'll treat you good after 30 years. And that didn't happen with my parents, even though that was their motto. The companies they worked for their whole lives that didn't work out. So I'm happy in a way that there's an empowerment with the Great Resignation, correct?
Yeah, there is. I mean, what you're talking about is there's a lack of trust, right? So what happened was that trust eroded over time. It used to be where you'd say, well, I'm going to spend 20 years or 30 years with this company.
This is my company,
They're
right.
going to be loyal to me. I'm going to be loyal to them. But
and then
that
we all
doesn't
saw it
exist
didn't happen,
anymore.
right?
But even in the day-to-day, we have a lack of trust, because what happens is companies, because they have that power, they didn't have accountability. They didn't take accountability. They didn't provide transparency, right? And when you don't provide accountability and transparency, people start not trusting what's going on.
But something shifted in the workforce for all of the places to be open, for all of us to have the freedom again.
Clearly.
What was that?
There's a lot of things that went on, right? So number one is there were people that were close to retirement age that just said, you know what, I've had enough.
I'm done.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
right.
I'm done. This is what's destroyed our trucking industry in America.
Yes.
Is that we had all these people who just said, you know what, I'm done with this industry. I don't want to do it anymore. And try getting a 21-year-old to get it to become a trucker.
No.
Very difficult, right?
Yeah, I dated a trucker for like
It's a
8
tough
years,
lifestyle.
right? We're proud to be an American. But they were always getting screwed on the pay that was coming in, and the gasoline, and the so I get it. Yeah.
So there are people that retired. There were people who burned out.
Yeah.
But burnout happens because you're not engaged and you're not, involved in your job.
Because you're complacent.
Right? Because your employer has become complacent and has not kept you engaged, right?
Yep.
So think about all the healthcare workers.
We've all worked there. Some of us working there right now. Yeah.
Think about all the healthcare workers and the retail workers and the front line, no matter what the front line is, whether it's working in a grocery store, and we've seen what's happened recently locally with grocery stores, right? With some strikes and things going on. So, I mean, there's a lot of people who just left the workforce because either they were close to retirement or they got burnt out.
Okay.
But then there's other people who are saying, you know what? I want something more.
Yes. Absolutely.
Is this it? Is this it for me? Or is there something better for me? Is there someone who's going to treat me better? Is there something that I'm going to enjoy doing? And so people are taking that opportunity now, but they feel that way because of what led up to it.
Okay, and I totally understand that from what they've seen around them. So the Great Resignation isn't a bad thing. Why do you think so much of it is happening in our service industries? That's like the major one, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, listen,
like it's just the biggest turnover.
Well, retail,
is
hospitality, manufacturing, healthcare,
right.
All of these have been, hit for a number of different reasons. But when you think about kind of, like hospitality or, that, first of all, a lot shut down during the pandemic, right? So we didn't have a lot of hospitality.
Right.
Right. So
all
a
those
lot of
people
those
had to
jobs
find
were on
jobs.
furlough. They were put, hotels were shut down, travel was shut down, live events were shut down. A lot of
But
people,
the jobs are there now and people aren't going back to them. Where'd those people go?
Well, they're finding other paths.
Yeah.
They're finding other paths and they're holding out and waiting. People are trying to solve this problem with money.
Yeah.
Right. We were talking during the break about how you can't even get people to work fast food for $16, $17 an hour anymore. Right. Forget about minimum wage. It's irrelevant anymore.
Right.
People want more than money.
Yeah.
And you're not going to solve this problem with money. You got to figure out, what do people really want? How do we keep them engaged in our jobs?
So you mean the companies out there that are one step ahead, that are giving like scholarship opportunities and college opportunities and things for families and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
They're ones that are actually saying, I value you as an employee. That's where the employees are going to, or those companies. So if you're a company like that, you better get with it.
Well, they're also the types of companies that understand that engagement comes from people feeling like they have control.
Yes.
Right? And so when you micromanage, when you take away people's autonomy, when you take away people's ability to make decisions, and you just tell them exactly what they have to do, they're robots.
We hate it.
They're not engaged.
Yep.
And
right.
that's when they're going to look for something different.
And it happens at every type of job. I mean, I've done construction to media, and anyone can get into a robot kind of feel, and everybody gets micromanaged, and it's not the way to go. But but that's a management issue, right? Of people being insecure in how they manage, right?
Oh, absolutely. And
it's a vicious cycle that we're all trying to find our way through.
It really is. It really is. And you know what? It's everything from small business, where people who have started business on their own have a hard time letting go because it's so personal to them.
Yes.
To big business, where people just want to maintain that power, and they feel like they keep that power by not letting people have choices.
So when I show up and I see empty shelves, or that I have to wait longer because there's not a waitress, or I have to wait longer because they're down staff, that's just the sign. That's just the way it's going to be for a while.
Well, I mean, that's
what do I say there? What do we all need to accept? Like, we need to accept not seeing grocery store shelves packed crazy, and gluttonous like they have been. I mean, do we all need to accept this new thing? Instead of complaining, they need to hire people. Just realize, get used to this.
You know what? I'm not a prognosticator. I can't see the future.
I know, but what do you think?
I think it's going to be like this for a little bit, because these things all have trickle effects. So we don't have things on the shelf because of our trucking industry.
Yeah, there's that.
And we can't get things from point A to point B. Right. So that's a problem. So until we can solve that problem,
which is which would be appreciating the truckers to move the freight.
Right. For so long.
Amazing. It's it's okay. Yeah, we have to go to a commercial, everybody. When we come back, I'm so sorry I didn't let you identify the complacency things. We'll come back and talk about that.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Kathy J.
Oakwood Homes is an official partner of the Kathy J Show. Oakwood Homes, building happiness.
Kathy J.
Welcome back to the Kathy J Show, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us this half hour. Len Herstein is here. He's got a few more helpful tips for us to get into this great resignation, everybody. For you, your business, whatever it is. Let's go into the 3 things really fast about complacency that you wanted to touch on. What are they?
Yeah, so these are things that you can start doing right away to help avoid complacency, to help fight it, right? And the whole key here is that this is about awareness. It's not about paranoia. Right? It's not about being paranoid, it's about being vigilant, which is awareness based. So number 1 is threat awareness. It's understanding where can the threats come from and doing that work ahead of time to think about where are the weaknesses, where are the things where our threats can come from, and planning for them.
So when you say a threat, what if I work at a convenience store? My threat is a manager I don't like? I mean, what are you saying when you say find out where your threats are?
Well, it all depends, right? So we're talking about the Great Resignation. Employers thought about their threats in terms of their competitors, in terms of the economy, in terms of things. They never really thought about what happens if I can't hire people.
Exactly, because they just assumed they'd be there. Okay, right. The second one, what is the?
So second one would be giving employees and giving people in your life autonomy and discretion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Whether it's in your family and your kids, right, or it's at work.
Yes.
Making sure that people have an ability to remain engaged, because when people are engaged, they're going to stay with you.
Yes, absolutely. They feel we want to be loyal to a good company. We want to know that we can stay with you and grow old, for sure. Okay, and what is the third one?
So the third thing is something you can start doing right now.
I love it. Okay.
It's debriefing. So we all talk about, we all.
Do I need a light to shine on me? And
No. This is simple.
Okay.
This is simple, and there's things in the book in terms of how to do a successful debrief. But the thing is, if you really think about it in your life at home or at work, if you're doing debriefs today, more than likely you're doing them when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And it's about finding out who's to blame.
Yes.
Right?
What went wrong so it doesn't happen again. Break it all down. Right.
But what happens with complacency is that we don't debrief when things go right. And there are so many micro failures and little things that go wrong, even though the end outcome is good, right?
Okay.
So things could have gone better. We could have had a successful outcome by accident. We could have had a successful outcome because our competition did worse than we did.
You never think about that. You're just happy that you won.
Right. So what we do in law enforcement is after every major critical incident, we do a debrief, whether the outcome was positive or negative. What I tell people in Denver is that you want to be Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
You want to be looking at that game film, whether you won by 21 points or you lost. No matter what, you're finding where could I have done better, what went right, what went wrong, what can we learn from this? And when you're doing that, you're forcing yourself to be aware, which makes you fight complacency.
Yes, you're right. And then you get to where you need to be in your life. You get to where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so your book, Len, everybody, let's talk about your book. So the book's title is Be Vigilant, Strategies to Stop Complacency and Improve Performance and Safeguard Success in Your Business and Relationships Depend on It.
Yes, it's a mouthful, right?
There you go, Len. I got it out. And
it does really well on search, though.
I know. Yeah, you hit every single word. But you can get it on Amazon, everybody. Tell everybody what's the purpose of this book. What is it going to help them do?
Listen, the whole premise behind the book is, there's a lot of books out there. There's a lot of people out there talking about how you can become successful. This book is about how do you remain successful?
Right.
How do you keep that success? Right? It's how do we identify where complacency can fall in our lives, both professionally and personally, and how do we fight it with vigilance?
So do you do this when you are at home? Like, do you do this with, you have a debriefing with your kids, with your wife? I mean, when you said personal, how does that roll at home?
Yeah, a debriefing could be a family dinner, right?
Okay.
And talking about what happened today. good or bad, right?
Yes.
Not just like, hey, you got a bad grade on that test.
Right.
Like, let's talk about, hey, you got a good grade on that
Yes,
test.
and this worked well, and you guys were all there. And you know, when we went through the car with the accident with my leg, I remember telling my daughter, like, you were so brave. You went and got mommy's purse. You didn't freak out.
Yeah.
Like we debriefed
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So it is actually good. So that's what you're saying. Be vigilant.
Yes, absolutely. Be vigilant, be aware, be in the moment, be intentional.
Okay, I love that. And so if people need to, they can use the book. You said there's like little.
Yeah, there's little worksheets
Yeah,
in it at the
worksheets
end
and
of each
stuff
chapter.
that they can do, how you came through this. Any final thoughts and words you want to leave with our guests today?
Listen, the only thing is, first of all, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
having
Len.
me here.
I'm so excited.
For braving the snow and,
Yeah, I was
and your
here for
foot
you.
and everything.
Yes.
And so, you know, what I just, you know, for everybody out there, be happy, be healthy, be vigilant.
Yes, right. And you know, improve your performance, everybody, because don't stop complaining that the shelves are empty and nobody's around. Just be happy for those people and do it yourself. Thanks, Len. Everybody, have a good one.
Thank you.